Hi everyone, my name is Sanjeev. In this video, I will demo how to integrate EDI using MuleSoft X12 connector. So what is EDI? EDI is short form for electronic data interchange. EDI enables business-to-business communication between partners. EDI has many standards for message formats. For example, it have X12 standard, EDIFACT standard, and each of these standards have different message type defined, different standard defined for different type of messages. For example, we have standard for invoice under X12 format. We have 850 for purchase order. This is standard for purchase order under X12. In this demo, I will use X12 MuleSoft connector to show the integration between MuleSoft and EDI. Let's start the demo. So to demonstrate the X12 EDI connector, I have created a couple of Mule project here. So EDI connector have a couple of methods, read, write, and write batch methods. I will demonstrate the X12 EDI connector using these Mule project. X12 connector parse the EDI document and validate the document and then generate the message. So for parsing the EDI document, it use the EDI schema language, and we need to configure the EDI schema language, that is ESL, when we configure the X12 connector in Mule application. So let me show you the first how the EDI document looks like. So I have one example here. So let me open. So this example is purchase order example, and it is using 4010 version and 850 is the message type. So purchase order is called 850 in X12 standard. So this file contains segments. Each line is a segment, and each segment is terminated by this segment terminator. So you can see that each line is terminated by segment terminator, and each line is a segment. Then each segment contains multiple elements, and elements are separated by star element separator. So X12 connector will parse this file, validate the file, and then generate the message. So let me explain this flow first. So we have HTTP listener, which have default properties set. Using path X12 PO read, because we are reading the purchase order EDI document in this flow. Then here I'm just logging the message that processing X12 850 PO, and then I have X12 connector where I'm using read method. So here we just need to set the content, and we need to configure the connector configuration. So let me show you the connector configuration. So this is the connector configuration. Here we need to provide the schema definition. So we can select edit in line here, and then we need to provide schema, because X12 connector parse and validate the EDI document using this ELS file, that is schema, EDI schema language file. Here I'm using standard schema, but we can use the custom schema as well. So if some partner have a custom schema, Then we need to define here custom schema. We can put that schema under source main resource in some of the schema folder, and then we can point here. But here I'm using a standard schema, and standard schema is we can find in a jar file. So we can go here, and then there is a schema file X12, and these are all our version. So I'm using 4010. So we need to say version, and then we have to say the which message type you need to process. So I'm processing purchase order, and that message type is 850. So this is the one. So this is the schema definition for purchase order EDI message. Okay. So that's all, nothing else. Everything is default here. And identity, we need to tell the who is the partners. So here we have to define the ID identity. So I define the 01 is the identity for mythical supplier, and the partner is NTO retail, which is putting the order, purchase order to the mythical supplier. And the partner ID for NTO retail is GZ. So we can put that information here. In the parser, everything is default. I haven't configured anything. In the writer, I haven't configured anything either here. But you can see that the data element separator, component element separator, segment terminator, all those are already default setting is there. So this is the configuration for X12 EDI connector for read method. Once this read method of X12 EDI connector will parse and validate and generate the EDI, then we have to map that EDI to the target format. So here I'm assuming that you want to send this message to the system who takes the message in a JSON format. So if your target system is taking XML format, you can convert the EDI to the XML format, and you can write this script. So you can write this script manually, but you need to have the mapping between EDI elements, all those purchase order elements, segment and element. You need to know that all the mapping from the EDI segment element to the target JSON fields. So either you can use the manual way, if you know the mapping and if you know actually which one is array, so you can use the like map for that element. Like this is a array, so I used map here. All other are just direct mapping. You should know actually which field and mapping to the which element inside the segment of EDI document. So another method is you can define the metadata, output metadata. By clicking this, you can add the JSON type, and you can use either schema, target JSON schema, or you can use a sample file like this one. So this is a sample file. The generated file target purchase order message would be like this. So you can use this, and you can define the output, and then you can drag and drop from element to the target JSON fields, and that way it will generate this mapping. So this is all pretty much. Once you have that, you can send this message, transport message to the target system. Here I am just logging the message PO process to the JSON, and I'm returning this JSON to the caller of this API. But in real scenario, you might need to call another HTTP request or send a message to the MQ or any other asynchronous or synchronous target. But for demo, I just sending back to the HTTP response. Let me run this. So application has been started. Let me clear the console and I will go to the Postman. So we are invoking X12 PO read. That's the endpoint. X12 PO read. And here I'm passing the EDI file 850 purchase order. So NTO retail is passing this purchase order to the mythical supplier. So communication between partners happening in EDI format. So I'm sending this EDI message, purchase order, and we got the response. So X12 parser parsed and validated the EDI message and we got the response. Okay. Now I will demo the outbound demo where we are creating the EDI file. X12 is writing the EDI file. So I will use the write method. So here endpoint is X12 PO write, processing PO. X12 connector will write the EDI file. So it need to accept the payload and then we just configure the connector here. So it's almost same like read method. Here also we provide the schema. It could be custom schema or a standard schema. So here I'm also using a standard schema. Everything else is default. Saying actually that mule ID is ZZ and partner ID for mythical supplier is 01. So NTO retail is writing the PO purchase order 850 document that it need to send to the mythical supplier. Everything is default here. And writer also everything is same. Here we can have a none default or we can have a CRLF. So each line will be printed separately in Postman. So this write method will take the payload and the payload should be in the format of EDI. Whoever calls this API, they can send input message either actually in the XML format or JSON format or any other format, but we need to convert that in Java media type and we have to put actually in the EDI format. So here in this example, I'm assuming that caller of this API will send the message in XML format. So let me show you the example here. A message is coming, purchase order is coming in this format. And X12 connector will convert that in EDI format. So either we can write this manually, but we need to have a mapping. You need to know the mapping between XML and the EDI 820 purchase order elements. If you know that, you can write manually, or you can have the type defined. You can replace the type here, edit sample type or set metadata, and then you can create a new type, XML type, using this purchase order example file, or you can have the schema file, and you can create the type, and then you can drag and drop based on the mapping. So you need to have a mapping between XML elements to the EDI 850 elements. Once you have that, you can drag and drop as well, or you can write manually as well. But eventually you need to have this DataBeef script, and this DataBeef script will produce the EDI file in Java format. Then this will go to the write method, and it will validate based on the schema that we defined here in configuration. So after validating in parsing, it will generate the EDI document, and this EDI document can be sent to the mythical supplier using some protocol like HTTPS or JMS or FTP, SFTP. But your configuration is there between B2B partners. So using that protocol, it can send the EDI format, PO purchase order 850 document. So let me run this to show the demo. So application has been started. Let me clear the console. So I will now send the XML message, XML PO, X12 PO write endpoint. I will go to the Postman, and from here I will invoke the X12 PO write body as a XML. This is purchase order. I'm sending this purchase order. This is 850 purchase order message in EDI format, in X12 format, and this can be sent either by SFTP or HTTPS to the mythical supplier, so they can send the shipment and then eventually they can send the invoice. Now I will show you how mythical supplier can acknowledge the receipt of the EDI message. So I have another Mule application here. So here endpoint is X12 PO read. So we are getting the EDI message. NTO retail is sending the message to the mythical supplier. So this is a read configuration. This is a schema we are using, standard schema. And here we have defined the identity. So here NTO retail is sending the PO 850 message, EDI message to the mythical supplier. Everything is default here. Okay. So X12 will read the message, parse it, validate based on the schema, and then generate some content for the acknowledgement as well. So I'm putting that content inside the variable functional acknowledgement. So this is the element that would be generated, functional acknowledgement, and based on that I'm mapping this in this format, Java format, and here I'm using 997 because functional acknowledgement is of message type 997 and this is just version number. So we have this database script. Here I'm simply converting the EDI PO message from the EDI format to the JSON format, and this message can be sent to the target system. Whoever want to process the JSON message further, we can send this, but in this demo I have not done other than this converting anything else, but this very well can be put to the some JMS queue or topic where the target system can receive this JSON message and they can process further. So in this flow, then I'm writing the acknowledgement. For writing acknowledgement, I'm using this X12 write. So here you can see that configuration. I'm using a schema for functional acknowledgement. This is a message type 997 is used for functional acknowledgement. I'm using a standard schema. This also you can find here under schema X12 4010. This is the version I'm using, and 997. So this is the schema for functional acknowledgement. This validate the EDI file for functional acknowledgement. So I'm writing that, I'm sending that variable value here as a payload here, content, and this can be acknowledged. So we can put this in a SFTP target or send by HTTPS, whatever way is possible. So this way we are actually sending acknowledgement to the partner. So let me run this. Okay, application has been deployed. Let me clear the console. I will go to the Postman. I will invoke the read endpoint. So I will send this message, same message, and endpoint is also same. So X12 PO read, and I'm sending PO in EDI format. Send it. Okay, there is some issue. Let me go back. Okay, we have to check the configuration. So parser. Okay, so here we need to acknowledge every transaction. So here we need to say true and then acknowledge schema path. We have to provide a schema path here. So let me copy the schema path as well. So this is a schema path for acknowledgement. So we need to provide that path. So when it generate the acknowledgement, it use this schema, and here we need to say we need to acknowledge every transaction. Click OK. Save it. Let me run it again. Application has been deployed. Let me clear the console. I'll go to the postman. I will invoke the endpoint X12 PO read. X12 PO read. Click send. And we got the acknowledgement. So NTO retail sent the purchase order and it got the acknowledgement. That means it has been processed and accepted by mythical supplier. So that's how we can acknowledge the messages. Let me go back to any point. Here, go to the right, go to the configuration, writer, and here we can change the segment line ending to the CRLF. Click OK. So I change the X12 write configuration. I change the segment line ending with the CRLF. So we'll get better formatting here. That's all. Let me run the application. Started. Let me clear the console. I'll go to the postman. Right now our formatting is not ready, so I'm sending this again and we'll see the acknowledgement back. So this is acknowledgement. This is in better format. Each segment is terminated by this symbol and it's better formatted. This is all in this video. In this video, I showed you how to use the X12 EDI connector, how to convert EDI format to the JSON or XML format, how to convert from XML to the EDI format, how to generate the acknowledgement 997. This is all in this video. If you like this video, click the like button and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.